Okay, want to do a quick video. Didn't see you guys on Slack. I just missed a call from Nate. So I figured I would do a video to fill in because I didn't have a call with you guys this week. Alright. A lot of stuff. I'm going to try and go super fast so this isn't turn into something that's too long. So I'm going to, let me log out of here. So I'm going to show off the first card, which is the modal centering. So let's log out. And I want to make sure I'm at the beginning here. And it'll log in. Big Daddy test 1, 2, 3. All right, I can't even see it. I basically rewrote the modals so they're now all centered. So you're not going to get a lot of craziness. It will actually, I'll do an image upload. That's the next card, and that'll show it off. So I'm going to manage my listings here. And I'm going to do create, and I'm going to do title CCCC. Then hopefully that won't cause an issue. Browse. All right. So I have a whole bunch of assorted photos right now, and I'm going to just throw like 4 of these in here. What I'm showing off now is I got that image resizing correctly. So don't mind my photos here, 16 by 9, and let me, do I have a 1 by 1? I don't think I do. 3 by 2 we can do. Alright, so let's create this. When I hit create, you're going to see the new modal, nice and centered. If you don't like the styling, I can always adjust it, but let's hit create. Alright, so you see how it's nice and centered now in the screen. It's not like up top or left. So now all the modals are going to be the same, which is good. So let's go through. It's basically going through now. It's adjusting the images down so that if they're not in a 3:2 aspect ratio, it resizes them and then crops them down. And the result, if we view here, even though all these images were different aspect ratios, it's fitting them in. We could do other things if you want, but this has been usually what works best. It will also handle portrait stuff, but right now portrait stuff is expanding the viewer, so I gotta figure out something with that. All right. Next one was a problem that was under one of your issues, and it says starting from TimberList.dev as an anonymous user. I click the profile icon and then the back button, and the background image failed to load. So let's do that. Let's log out. Okay, so I'm an anonymous user. I clicked the portrait profile icon, boop, and then back, and the images failed to load. I rewrote, as I talked about a couple weeks ago, wanting to redo the basic nuts and bolts of the templating system that accommodate this one page's background, and it was choking on some things and failing to show off the background image correctly, and so I just wanted to fix that. Okay, the next issue is we had a null pointer for the managed users under root. So let's log in as root. Test 1, 2, 3. Oh, I changed the root password. I'll mention why in a second. So we are logging in with the root password. And what happened there? Root pwd. Oh, I had the. All right. Okay, so now I'm logged in as root, and I can click manage users, and I got rid of that null pointer on there. So that's back up and running. The next thing was, and I really can't show it off, but I just went through all the creates, and I made sure that we are trimming our strings where applicable. Um, that was a big one. Um, oh, Next one was getting the software version basically displayed. So in the footer here now, I'm putting the software version on the bottom, and I just built it into my process that whenever I do a feature release, a new version of the code that's getting pushed, I'm basically adjusting this version number. So the way I have it working here is it's hard to see, but I have three sets of numbers. Um, so the first one's the major version, then I got a dot, then a minor version, then I have a dot in the patch. So basically, like little things. Well, it's self-explanatory. I can go more into it, but basically, depending on the severity of the changes being made, we're going to increment numbers. This way, we'll know when we look at it what version it is. Okay. Click once button. All right. So on some of the buttons, um, I just basically remove the ability to keep pounding it. Right now, I have it on the Facebook login. Um, and it's just a button. It's nothing crazy. But basically now, taking away the ability for people to basically send multiple calls to the server by hammering a button. It's something you have to do. A standard button can't do that. Uh, Warning mail service. Okay. So I got a whole bunch of other stuff here. I'm going to go through the reason why I did it, and this is something we can talk about. It's easy for me to take out because it's basically just a different commit to the code. But we are getting close to a launch. I mean, I know there's more work to do, but I have to start thinking about what I can do to make the first month or so easiest for you. And when you have new users coming into the system, if you've never done this before, users kind of think different than us, or they do things differently. So I wanted to set some things up via logging and some email notifications that will help make our lives easier. Mainly, well, let's see if I can do the first one here. All right, so the first one is now when you log in, um, you can log in with a non-case specific username. So normally it would be Big Daddy, or just going to do Big Daddy. That's test 1, 2, 3. So that's the first one. I can switch this back because I prefer to have case specific usernames, but your users are not going to understand, I don't think, from experience. And a lot of times they're going to get frustrated when it just turns out they're putting a capital or leaving a capital off. So that was one of the first ones. Also, I really can't show this, but I can forward you the emails. I'd have it set up now that when you have a failed login attempt, it just sends an email out to a generic list. Right now I got myself on there, but I could add you guys. And basically what that does is when you start signing your clients up and you start getting emails, you'll see them hammering the site. You know what I mean? Like if they're using their email as a username, they won't put .com on, or they're going to have, weird stuff going on. They'll misspell their username. It'll give you a heads up. If you want to be proactive and call them, you can, but it's just nice to have that message, and then when they do reach out to you, you got to answer for them right away because you kind of were expecting it. So that was another one. In doing that, I basically create a real easy to use, also generic email service for sending stuff of that nature. So if there's anything else you want to know about that might be happening during launch week, it'll be really easy for me to send messages to that generic service. Right. And then the last thing I wanted to show was second to last thing was to allow ghosting. So another thing, and we can turn this off, but another thing that's really nice to have is the ability to log in as a client and see what they see. Because a lot of times um, you want them to send screenshots or things of that nature. But they're not going to. This at least gives you or me the ability then to log in as that user and to see their view. And I call it ghosting. A lot of people call it different things. Every time it does happen, um, logging is done. So if there's any shenanigans, you have logs with timestamps, and you can see when it happened. But I'm gonna log in as Big Daddy, but this time I'm gonna use the root password and not the Big Daddy password. So I'm able to log in because I know the root password, I know his username. And in the log files, there was a message stating that a ghosting login has occurred, and it's got a timestamp there. So it's almost like an audit. All right. What else did I do? Oh, yeah, we're logged in here. Let me log in as root so I can show you. I cleaned up some of the templating as well. Um, I think the best place to show it is probably as root. So let's go here and log in as root. And we'll do the new root password. Okay. And it was just little things. It went through, made sure every page that's rendered has a footer that's not crashing and the width is correct, things of that nature. On the home page, made sure you can click through to all those links, even though I don't have content for them yet. They are live so you can see them. Um, Landowners, we have content for. If you guys want to get me the content for the other pages, we can build out the text for there, and then we can work on picking out some photos to go in those pages as well. Yeah, that was basically it. So yeah, during the week I'm going to be working on all of the user experience from non-root, just making like the sign up a little better. I want to put some drop downs in for states and like make the credit card format it correctly so it looks like a credit card and it's easier to use, things of that nature. Um, if you could, I know you guys are working on content. If you want to start sending that over, I can start dropping it in. Also, when you're creating your content, think of what kind of photo you want to go on there, and then either we can search together on the call, or you can send me some photos. I'll just drop them in so that the content looks better. I think that's it. It was a lot. Sorry for the long video. I just want to give you a heads up. I'm going to leave this in the status call column on Trello. And then if no one saw the video, we can run through it real quick on the next video. Or if you want to skip them, we can skip them too. All right. Hope everyone's having a good week.